Now, it turns out there is a formula for creating really effective YouTube ads, and it's now become a science. No longer is this kind of a creative black box and you don't know how to make really good videos. I've worked on this so much to the point at which my eyes bleed going through this data, but I want to share with you exactly what it takes to run really effective YouTube campaigns, because yes, there's so much you can do with the AI and so much you can do with campaigns and so many effective things on the technical build out. But that only takes you so far, because if you haven't got a killer offer and if you haven't got an amazing video ad, you're always going to be behind. So the best thing to do is to make sure, yes, your offer is amazing, and yes, you're doing all the things you should be doing with the targeting that I'm showing you here. And you may know other ways of building out campaigns as well. So I'd encourage you to test that as well. But what's really important is you have a really, really solid YouTube ad that is running, that is going to generate you such good results that you'll beat the competition no matter how good they are on the technical side. You've just got a better video. And it's my belief that the video is almost 80% of the results that you get in your campaigns is down to the video creative. It's so important to get right, and now I know how to do this and I want to share it with you. So the formula for getting a really good cost per lead or a cost per sale is VR multiplied by CPV divided by CTR multiplied by LPCR, which really stands for view rate multiplied by cost per view divided by click-through rate multiplied by landing page conversion rate. That is the formula for what it costs per lead, okay? And this, if you work on this formula, using this formula, it's not difficult to cut your cost per lead in half. I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, we're focusing here on in-stream ads, not discovery ads. This is how the formula works. So it's only going to be applicable to in-stream ads. And these are the ads, of course, where in the bottom right-hand corner, you have the skip ad button that will become available after 5 seconds of viewing. And you also have the the call to action link in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, if we look at the maths behind this, and it is maths with an S, not math. That's the Britishness of me coming out. You will find that if you were to look at a simple formula, you've got cost per lead, which would equal total cost divided by your number of leads. That would equal your cost per lead, of course. Now, that's the simplicity of it. But if we break it down for YouTube advertising, let's first of all look at the number of leads and actually what that is and how the metrics are made up here. So if we look at a simple customer journey, you would have people out there who would get to see your ad, and they would be impressions. Okay, so the number of impressions you get, or the imps that you get in this scenario, would be the number of people that see your YouTube ad load up. Now, our job is to get them to go from the YouTube ad to go to your landing page and get that click. So that's going to be called your click-through rate, or your CTR. And then from your landing page, what you're hoping that's going to happen is they're going to take some sort of action. And if it's lead gen, they're going to get to leave their details and hit the thank you page after they submit. And that's going to be your landing page conversion rate, whatever that action is you want people to take. Okay, that's also known as your LPCR, not in most common circles, just here, we call it LPCR. Now, if you multiply these up, so you do impressions multiplied by your click-through rate, multiplied by your landing page conversion rate, if you do those three together, that's going to equal the number of conversions you've driven, okay? So let's take those numbers now and put them back into your number of leads, okay? Because that's going to be a number of conversions, your number of leads is the same thing in this scenario, which means we can actually display this mathematical formula as cost per lead equals total cost divided by impressions multiplied by click-through rate multiplied by landing page conversion rate. It's a sexy formula, right? Okay, so we've worked out that part of the equation. Now let's look at this total cost and work out that section. So how do we work out total cost? What is actually the numbers we need to keep an eye on when it comes to YouTube? Well, again, this is just in-stream ads, so keep an eye on that skip ad button and that call to action link. But remember, you only pay for engagement with your YouTube ads. So that's going to be either someone who clicks to go to your site or someone who watches past 30 seconds. So with a YouTube ad, you pay for a click or a 30-second view. Now, if the viewer skips before 30 seconds, it's counted as merely an impression and you won't be charged. That's really important to know. So that means that if someone watches 29 seconds of your video and then presses skip ad, it won't cost you a penny. Now, the percentage of people watching past 30 seconds is called your view rate. Now, that's a really important number for us to keep an eye on. Not many people concentrate on that metric, but it's huge for getting the best results with your ads. Okay, so let's look at this YouTube ad math. I've gone American for a second there just to appease all of my American buddies. Okay, so if you have a YouTube video here and we look at the structure, this goes from 0 seconds up until 30 seconds and then from 30 seconds to the end of your video. As a heads up, we're noticing that videos around about 1 minute and 20 seconds in length are the best videos. We're running tests to prove that out over time. It's never easy to split test on video length, but we're doing our best to gather as much research as possible and see those trends. That's just a quick aside. Now, at 30 seconds, that is when you pay. When someone watches past 30 seconds, you pay there, or if they click to your site. But if they click to your site, that's what we want people to do. Now, if you pay there, the percentage of people that watch more than 30 seconds is called your view rate or your VR, okay? But how much do you pay? Well, you decide based on your bid. So based on what you decide on your cost per view, when you're running your account manually, that is going to be called your cost per view or your CPV. Now, what we want to do is make sure that anyone that watches past 30 seconds is going to click to the site to convert, okay? What we want to do is we want to get or exclude and get rid of those people this ad is not for. So this is why you tend to find that those people that start stories or are very, very funny in their videos, you tend to find that loads of people watch those videos past 30 seconds, but not so many people are actually interested in converting. So think of this as direct response first. Get people off your video if it's not right for them. So your view rate is actually lower. We want a low view rate. We want a small percentage of people watching past 30 seconds, but those percentage of people that do watch past 30 seconds are almost like your ideal clients. So you're only paying for the ideal people that are likely to click. I hope that makes sense as a methodology. Now, when we do the maths behind this, if you do impressions multiplied by your view rate multiplied by your cost per view, that actually equals your total cost. So what it's costing you per view, how many views you're getting per impression, multiply that all up, that is going to be your total cost. Okay, so, and by the way, all of this data is inside of your Google account. So you can see all of this data just publicly available, I say publicly, privately available to you in your account. So when we look back at this formula now, we've got cost per lead equals total cost divided by impressions multiplied by click-through rate multiplied by landing page conversion rate. But now we can actually take this number of impressions multiplied by view rate multiplied by cost per view and replace total cost here. So if we do that, it looks like this. Now, if you remember your algebra days back at college, you can take your impressions, and because you've got one above and one below, you can cancel those out, which means it leaves you with this view rate multiplied by cost per view divided by click-through rate multiplied by landing page conversion rate will equal your cost per lead. Now, if we represent this slightly differently, it's VR multiplied by CPV divided by CTR multiplied by LPCR, your landing page conversion rate. That is the formula that we started off with. Now here's where the magic happens, because what we want to do is keep the click-through rate and the landing page conversion rate high. Do everything you can to get more people clicking and more people converting. That one's pretty obvious. But up here, we want to keep the view rate and the cost per view as low as possible for this mathematics to work out. But it's not quite as simple as that. Yes, keep the view rate low, but you don't always want to keep the cost per view low, because you're going to be, as I said earlier, you will find that if you go really low on your views, your cost per views, you'll find you are kind of running your ads in the pools of traffic where the less quality traffic is hanging out. So you don't want to go too low in your cost per view, even though mathematically it makes sense to do that. There are nuances here. So you want to make sure your cost per view is as high as possible that you can afford. Okay? So that's the last thing to be focusing on. When you have good view rate, good click-through rate, good landing page conversion rates, then you want to try and increase your cost per view to the point at which you kind of are maxing out at a level that you're comfortable with. So when we look at doing this, and if you can improve your click-through rates and your view rates with everything we've been teaching you in the video creation section of this training, your cost per lead should massively improve, because let's say, for example, you are currently running at a 35% view rate with a cost per view of 8 cents, and your click-through rate is 1%, and your landing page conversion rate is 30%. Okay, now, so much work you can do here, because of course, you can always improve your landing page conversion rate, do lots of split testing, everything you can do there to improve your results. Your click-through rate, there's a lot that you can do there with all the things we teach you inside the video creation and everything we're learning right now that we keep on releasing. The click-through rate, you should aim for anything above 1%. If it's less than that, it's still workable. Hopefully you're around about 1.5 to 2%. That would be really good. But say, for example, you're on 1%, which is not unusual, and your view rate's at 35%. Sometimes it'll be a lot higher than that. Ideally, you want your view rate to be around about 20 to 25%. That's not always easy, though. But let's say for example, you really work on your videos. You test lots of different things. You take on the training and you apply lots of things to your videos. And all of a sudden, you are able to, at this rate, and when you have these numbers in blue, you're acquiring leads at $9.33. That's exactly what this would be, by the way, if you ran those numbers and you've ran that calculation there. But let's say now you did a load of work and you got your 35% view rate down to 25% view rate, okay? It's not difficult to do that when you really work on it, and it's not unrealistic. Now, let's imagine also you've been really focused on your videos, you split tested a few things, and you got your 1% click-through rate up to 1.5% click-through rate. Again, very doable. It's not unrealistic. What you're going to find, if you just focus on those two things, you keep your cost per view the same, your landing page conversion rate hasn't changed, you just keep that as it is. Again, you could do some more work there if you wish to. By just making those two tweaks, your lead gen cost now will become $4.44. That is crazy, is it not? This is how we win the game on YouTube ads. Other people can try and be really technical, and we want to do that as well. We want to know how to be really strategic when it comes to running campaigns. But if you get that view rate down, and if you get that click-through rate up by relatively small margins, it makes such a profound difference to the actual lead gen costs. That's why I would encourage you to keep an eye on that view rate and keep an eye on that click-through rate. If you can improve those numbers and be really good at your creative, you're going to find you run really successful campaigns, and you can beat the best AdWords geeks out there because you've just got better video content. Cool, hope that makes sense. Now the trick here as well is when you are driving leads for much cheaper, don't rest on your laurels or think, great, well the lead gen's great, this is working out really well. What you want to do is start dominating. You want to bully out all of your competition. So you actually want to look at that and say, well, maybe what we can do now is actually double this cost per view. Once if we went to 16 cents now, pushed it up, imagine what the quality of traffic would be like, because you win the bid every single time. You get so much more exposure. You start to get really good results. And guess what? It's much easier to scale past keywords and into new types of targeting as well. So when you have really powerful videos, everything opens up for you. And so you want to be focusing on these numbers, get them working really effectively, keep following, keep asking questions of us as well, because what it means that if you can start increasing that cost per view, you get access to the better quality traffic. You may never be able to spend 16 cents, but you will be able to outbid the rest of your competition. And it means that you become the leading player in your field for any of those keywords you select that are worthwhile for your business. It's very, very powerful when you get really good at creating very, very good videos. Hope that all makes sense, and really digest that. Watch this video again and again if you need to, because I want to make sure you really get that.